Welcome to another episode of Seafood at Your Fingertips. I'm Rep Register, the Communications Coordinator at Florida Sea Grant. Today we're going to do fried softshell crab sandwiches. This is a recipe we've enjoyed in our family for many years. So first, let's talk about the ingredients you'll need. First things first, some softshell crabs. You can get them live or frozen. These are frozen. I got them up in Jacksonville. Just speak with your seafood market and they should be able to get some for you. You also need about a cup of flour, about 3 cups of oil, a cup of milk, a splash of Worcestershire and a splash of Tabasco, a tablespoon of dried tarragon, some lemon, a tomato, an egg, and a couple of slices of bread. That's for the crabs. We're also going to make some tartar sauce. And I got this recipe just off the internet, inspiredtaste.net. And what caught my eye was the amount of dill that they put in it, which I love, and it turns out really well. So, and for this, you're going to need about half a cup of mayonnaise. You're going to need a small dill pickle, some more lemon juice, some capers, also some dill, and about half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and some salt and pepper. So, first things first, whenever we're doing any cooking, we're going to wash our hands. Do our 2 happy birthday count. I won't subject you to my singing. All right. So just a note about softshell crabs. Their shells are soft because they're molting. When they get too large for their existing shell, they have to back out, and their shells are soft before the new shell hardens. When crabbers find these, or crabs that show signs of molting, they take them to shedding operations where they watch them and they wait until just the perfect time for sale. Sometimes you can find them live if you have a shedding operation near you. Today I'm working with frozen softshell crabs. To defrost them, you can either put them in your refrigerator overnight, and if you do that, put them on a rack so that any liquid that comes off of them, they're not resting in. What I'm going to do is rinse the ice off them and use the defrost, the seafood defrost setting on my microwave. So just get the ice off of it. And again, these are soft. They're soft shells, and so we got to be gentle with them. They can rip or tear or fall apart pretty easily. And I'm just using medium heat water and just getting that ice off of there. It doesn't take long. There's his claw. All right. So he starts to loosen up pretty quickly. And I can feel that he's still frozen in the middle, but I just wanted to get that layer of ice off of there because the microwave is going to get the rest of it for me. So here he is, pretty little crab. Put him over here. And so my microwave has defrost, and then it's got a fish setting, and I think these are about half a pound total. So that will give me 4 minutes. I think that's a little long. I'm going to monitor that. But while that's happening, let's get ready for the tartar sauce, or the marinade. This is what we're going to soak the crabs in to give them a little extra to help them with when they fry. And it's really simple. It's super easy. 1 egg. And just beat that. We're going to use a cup of milk. We're going to use dry tarragon And you can use fresh, but the dry's got a little bit more powerful taste, I think, and it really comes through. 1 tablespoon of that. It smells good. Let me check on these crabs, make sure I'm not cooking them. No, they're doing well. Give them just a little bit more time. All right. For this, we're going to put in a little splash of Worcestershire, just to taste. A splash of Tabasco, also to taste. And that's it. Now you'll notice I didn't put any salt in there. Again, these are going to be real salty already. They were frozen in salt water. And they've got a lot of salt in them already, so we don't want to overdo that. So we'll just whisk that up. And that's going to be our marinade. Kind of a custard. A little milk and egg. Good stuff. Smell that tarragon. All right. Let's check on our crabs here. Yeah, I'm going to give it just 30 more seconds here. Okay, let's check on those crabs that I defrosted. Yeah. Looking good, feel them. They're cool, but I can tell that most of the ice is gone. They are starting to turn red a little bit, and you don't want that too much, but that's fine how it is. Now, if you've gotten these alive or if you've gotten them uncleaned, you would need to clean them. These have been cleaned already, and I'm going to put a link on the Seafood at Your Fingertips website to a good cleaning video. And these have already been cleaned, but just briefly, you would lift up the tip of the carapace, and underneath there would be what they call the dead man's fingers. Those are the gills. And you could just pull those out. And that would be on both sides. And then there's also what they call the apron, and you could snip that off. And this has already been removed. And some people remove the eyes and the face. I want to leave that on there because this carapace will slide off if you're not careful to. And these have been cleaned really well and flushed out, so I feel good about that. I also like to keep all the good tasting stuff inside there. So what are we going to do now? We've got our marinade made up, that good tarragon marinade. And you can still smell that tarragon in there. And then we're going to just put these guys in there. And then just the tip here, put them in upside down. That way, in the crevices, all that marinade can soak up in there and get really good. So just put them in upside down and let them sit in there. All right, so we've got these marinating. They're in upside down in the milk and egg. And I'm going to cover them up and put them in the fridge. Really, the longer the better. If you can do it overnight, you've got that much foresight, do that. If you can only do it for 15 or 20 minutes, do that. I'm going to put these in while we make that tartar sauce. Okay, now that the crabs are marinating in the tarragon custard, we're going to also do some tartar sauce that'll go on these sandwiches. And so for that, we'll just do about half of a cup of mayonnaise. That's 1 cup, so we'll do half of it, a little bit more. This is all kind of to eyeball. All right. And then some dill pickles. This just calls for about 1 small one, but depending on how much you like dill pickles. And it says chop it up. So I'm gonna like that pretty fine. My julienne skills be up to task. Let's see. Little pieces of dill. And it just said 1 small one, so I'm gonna go with that. In there. And then Let's see, also a tablespoon of capers. I don't know where the fork is. Here we go. And a tablespoon of capers. And it says chop these too. Smell good. Lots of good pickly stuff. There's about a tablespoon. And then this is what sold me on this particular recipe, was this dill. I love dill, any chance in anything. So it calls for about a tablespoon of chopped fresh dill or a teaspoon of dry dill. So I can find some fresh, and I washed it and dried it. Ooh, that smells good. Put that in there. And just a little splash of Worcestershire. Not too much. It also calls for a little bit of mustard. It says Dijon, so got some of that too. This is a new kitchen, so I can't remember where everything is. And it says just a little bit, about 0.5 teaspoon of Dijon. So I'm going to do about half of what I just scooped out there. And then about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'll go easy, so I'll try to avoid any seeds in there. Alright. Stir it up. It's smelling good. And just like the crabs, the longer you can let this sit, the more it's going to blend, and all these flavors are going to join with one another. And so while those crabs are marinating, whip this up and just put it in there next to them and let it sit in the refrigerator too. There it is. You also might want to put a little bit of pepper in there. Forgot about that. Just a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt. See how that's doing. Ooh, that's good. Eat that on a cracker. All right. Put those in there to sit with the crabs, and meanwhile we can get the oil going. All right, so we've got the crabs and the tartar sauce in the fridge. I've got the oil heated up. This is 3 cups of canola oil. I'm going to use my wok. You can use whatever deep pan that you feel most comfortable with. You want to get the oil really hot, about 375 degrees, so that it cooks quickly. We don't want it sitting there kind of simmering or sauteing in oil. We want it to cook very quickly. We're going to do about 2 minutes aside for these. I've also got a cup of all-purpose flour in a bag. So we'll take our crabs out. And we'll just let those drip off for a second. There they are. Look how pretty it is. And holding the tarragon on there. All right, so let them drip. Just put them in there. Now some people will put salt or Old Bay or paprika or other things on there, and I want the crab taste to really shine through, so I didn't put anything in there. We just want a little light dusting of flour on there. See how he holds that? The Just leave a little air, a little space so that they can jiggle around in there when we putting them on there. Hold that really nice. Okay, and it looks like the oil is about where we want it. So we're just going to put these in. We want them to cook very quickly. Shake it a little bit so that make sure that they don't get stuck to the bottom. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. That's exactly what I'm looking for, is that kind of bubble. Because I cheated a little on the defrost and used the defrost setting, I'm just going to give them another half a minute or so, just to make sure that if there's any frozen interior though, that's good and cooked. Alright. You can also feel them kind of stiffen up. Flip them gently, gently. Beautiful. Alright, so I've got my plate and paper towel here ready to receive them. And I'm going to sneak away real quick while those, keeping one eye on those, but also go ahead and prep my sandwich. I toasted this bread. My tartar sauce is looking and smelling good. Just put a little bit of that on each side. You can do both if you want. You can go overboard with mayonnaise, so I'm just going to do it on one side. Go back over here. I think these guys are looking good. Beautiful. Let's give them about 30 more seconds. So we did these at about 2 minutes aside. Leave that oil in there. Make sure to turn that off. Put it back. All right, softshell crabs, and place them on a tartar sandwich nest here. All right, fried softshell crab with tarragon and dill tartar sauce sandwich. Can't wait to try them. With my assistant. ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.
Yummy.
We good. That's all right, isn't it?